Scrolling with Haley. Join Haley Caronia as she scrolls through the biggest headlines.
If you haven't watched this show before, we do blind reactions. I have not seen these videos, so I am seeing them for the first time with all of you. We're going to implement the tinfoil hat time segments and all the stuff you know and love. And I'm going to finish the show and answer some of your questions. Someone asked me what made you get into podcasting, and I was producing podcasts for other people. And I was like, I could do this for myself, and here I am.
Scrolling with Haley. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It is 11 o'clock, hour number 2. Appreciate Wimp Sanderson joining us in hour number 1. Brett Ciancia will join us momentarily from Pick 6 Previews, the most accurate preseason magazine over the last 10 years. He'll join the program momentarily. Monday, SEC Football Media Days. We will have boots on the ground. Jocks will have wall-to-wall coverage in Tampa, Florida. First time ever that the SEC Football Media Days will be in the state of Florida, needless to say, in the city of Tampa. We are so excited to be joined by our next guest. Brett Ciancia joins the program from Pick 6 Previews. He joins us to talk about the 2026 season. Brett, I hope you're well, my friend.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's that time of year here. It's Preview Magazine season. Just published the 2026 edition on Monday, so really excited to break down the season upcoming. And, yeah, we got hard copies coming off the printing press and shipping them out, so I'm really excited.
Well, first off, before we get started with the preseason preview, and your magazine is the most accurate over the last 10 seasons, I just want to congratulate you personally. I am a Football Writers Association of America member, and I was very happy of the Rising Star Award that our organization gave you here recently. So congratulations on that.
Good job, Brett.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I was very honored to get that award. And, you know, I don't really fit in the normal category. I mean, a lot of them are beat writers that cover one team, and they're on the ground there every day at practice. Others are reporters, other journalists. I'm kind of in a different category here doing the Preview Magazine and some game recaps throughout the season with my Pick 6 Plus product. But it's been great making so many connections across the country with so many FWAA writers. So it was truly an honor to be recognized. And, yeah, let's carry it forward in the 2026 season. But, yeah, truly an honor.
Brett, you don't have to give away all your secrets, but with your rankings, which we're going to reveal to our listeners and our viewers, what goes into how you get these? Where do these metrics, where do these numbers in your mind, how does it all work?
Yeah, well, I started calling it just a never-ending research project. It really is. I mean, it starts the fall prior. I mean, it starts in the fall on Saturdays. I'm watching 4 screens for 14 hours, watching as much game as I can, then watching recaps Sunday, and then, you know, looking at practice reports and game recaps, everything I could find during the season. Off-season is when the real research begins. That's talking to head coaches, talking to coordinators, watching spring games if they still have them, any kind of practice reports I can find. And then, of course, it's putting it into readable terms, too, because I try and talk about the schemes, the X's and O's, transfer portal. If it sounds like a long list, I mean, it really is. It's just very exhaustive process. But and then I have, of course, my numbers, my game grader formula. So I like it's a balance between my numbers and then also all the research that goes in. But, yeah, truly a never-ending process. Finally excited to get it to print and publish it here this week.
All right, let's dive into the Southeastern Conference. We believe that it will be an extremely competitive year, mainly because the SEC has added that additional conference game. It's now 9 as opposed to the previous 8. Georgia, Texas, that seems to be most everyone's thought process in regards to the top. But you also have a tie in there. You've got Georgia number 1, but tying Texas at number 2 is Oklahoma. Tell us what you like about John Mateer and that Oklahoma Center team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, first off, on the SEC scope, I see 8 different playoff contenders. I think it's the conference with the most playoff contenders out there. You bring up a good point about the 9th conference game going around. So a lot of these 10-2 resumes from last year, they're going to look 9-3, and I think they're going to look a little bit worse in the eyes of the committee. I think it'll be more of a balance of the bids that go out between the Big Ten and the SEC. So I've got 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC this year. But, yeah, I like Georgia at the top. At Oklahoma, number 2, yeah, what I like from them is I know I'm getting a championship caliber defense. Brent Venables, he put together a masterpiece last year on defense and has a lot back. They rotated a lot, too. So even though they're not called returning starters, it's a lot of experience coming back. So I know that side of the ball is championship caliber. And then on offense, remember last year, John Mateer busted up his hand halfway through the season. But when he's healthy, the pass offense looked better. He's now back healthy. He's got a second year within the SEC. after transitioning up from the Pac-12. So I think that's going to help him. It's also a second year for that offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle. And it was a really young offensive line last year. A lot of freshman five-star guys were breaking into the lineup. They're all back now as experienced sophomores and juniors. So I like Oklahoma both sides of the ball, especially that defense to carry them to Atlanta to play Georgia for the SEC title.
All right. I'm curious, and this is tongue-in-cheek, but what gives you pause about Texas? Aren't they supposed to win a national title?
Yeah, we hear that every summer, right? It's they're the preseason darling every year. I mean, Arch Manning again, Heisman favorite. I don't agree with that, but yeah, with Texas, look, I mean, last year when you look back on it, my game grader formula had him 8th in the SEC. I had him 22nd overall nationally. So it's not like they're already starting at a playoff tier. They need to show me improvement, 10, 12 spots better than last year. And I do think that they upgraded a lot of spots. I think they had a great transfer portal haul this year. I mean, the running back duo could be the best in the country. A lot of defensive pieces were added, which I like. But until I see it happen from Texas, I mean, it's almost like you got to prove it at some point. So last year was way overhyped coming in, and they looked at 8-4, 9-3 last year. So they got to go prove it. Now, all that said, I still have them in my top 10. I've got them 7th nationally. They're tied in 2nd, so call it 3rd in the SEC. So I still like what we have with Texas, but they got to go prove it before you earn a number 1 ranking again.
We're talking to Brett Ciancia, joins us here on the Higginbotham Hotline as we're talking Pick Six Previews, the most accurate preseason magazine in the last 10 years. Joins us here on Three Man Front. He's been hitting it out of the park for some time. He's been on our show the last few years as we get ready for the 2026 season. All right, so we mentioned Georgia at 1, Oklahoma, Texas, 2, 3. Then you've got Ole Miss, but I want to ask you about team number 5 on your SEC preseason list, and that's LSU with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, this is really the storyline of 2026, I think. It's definitely up there. I mean, it was the storyline of the whole offseason, the way that Lane Kiffin kicked off the coaching carousel, which ended up being the biggest carousel I've ever seen in college football history. So he kicked that whole thing off, the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, lands at LSU, brings 50 transfers in, the number 1 transfer class in the country. And not just with transfer rankings, but they had a nice recruiting pipeline at LSU. And if you look at the mock draft for 2027, I know we're early, but I like to look at that a little ahead of schedule. They're number 1 in projected picks. So this roster is loaded. But I really grappled with this one, whether to put them in the playoff bracket or not. I have them 1 spot outside of the bracket there at 13th nationally. And, what gave me some pause there was just the sheer amount of transfers. And I know if anybody can do it, it's Lane Kiffin, the portal king himself, as he's called. But I just think it's too much change too quick. They also get hit with a tough September. I mean, Clemson, I think they'll beat, but then you got to go at Ole Miss in Kiffin's return to the Grove, and then A&M comes in the week after that. So they got some tough games right away. I think they're going to go 9-3, 8-4, and be just on the outside of the bracket. But this is one of the storylines of the year, like I said, because not only is it LSU themselves, but they're playing all these other playoff caliber teams. So they're either going to spoil somebody's season or they're going to make it themselves. That's where I'm at with LSU. And I said this on another show. I think they're the most volatile team in the SEC. I mean, they might go 16-0. They might go 6-6. It's just we have no clue what they're going to look like this year.
Brett, what about Texas A&M? You have them right behind LSU in the 6th spot. For the Aggies, Mike Elko, they get to a college football playoff last year. And how much did just their history, lack of relevance when it comes to big games, forgive me, Aggie fans, how much did that play into this year's prognostication and you putting those numbers up?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I thought last year was a nice breakthrough season for them. They got to 11-0, and I know they came up short against Texas in the finale, but still the first playoff appearance for A&M. They had been wanting that for a long time. They got that off the checklist. But for this year, right away when I started the research, I noticed the lines of scrimmage. They're losing, I think, 8 of the 9 starters. If you talk 5 O-line, 4 D-line, I think 8 out of 9 are gone. So I almost threw them out of the top 25 on that alone. But then as I started researching it more, they really backfilled pretty well. I like it on the defensive line. They brought in Anto Saka from Northwestern, an all Big Ten guy. Really could push for All-American. Could be a top 10 draft pick next year on that D line. So I think they backloaded pretty well on the lines of scrimmage. They're going to be fine again there. The receiver core looks strong again. They got Craver back. And then Marcel Reed. People forget, up until that Texas fourth quarter, he was a Heisman candidate. So I like what they have. Again, it's such a competitive league where I've got them 6th in the SEC. That's good for 14th overall. So, really strong team. They're gonna upset some people, but I think still in that 9-3, 8-4 category this year.
Well, there are thousands of people across the great state of Alabama that are sitting here wondering, did we miss Brett mentioning Alabama? Because we haven't mentioned Alabama yet. You started this publication back in 2012, right in the middle of Alabama's dynasty with Nick Saban. And I got a feeling the reason why they come in at number 7 on your preseason list in the SEC is because there's just so many darn questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. And since 2012, I've been covering this, and I don't remember an Alabama roster with this many questions here in spring, in July and August, heading into the year. And usually the questions are just which 5-star is going to win the job. I mean, there are some deeper questions here heading into the season. Run the ball, stop the run. I mean, that's a big part of college football, a huge part of college football, especially in the SEC. And last year they really struggled with both, especially running the ball. Ended up being Alabama's worst rushing attack in 100 years of them keeping stats down there. So got to be able to fix that run game a little bit. But when you look at it, 4 offensive lineman starters are gone. A lot of the defenders are gone too in that front 7. And I never saw this from Alabama, where not only were graduating seniors leaving and juniors heading pro early, but starters were transferring out of here, and key guys from the 2 deep were transferring out of Alabama. So that's just something I hadn't seen from them. And, they recruit like the best of them. I'm sure there are still some unproven names coming up the depth chart. That's why I keep them still in the playoff hunt. I still have them in the top 16. I call them a playoff contender still, just not projected in there. They have too many questions. And heck of a season last year. 4 straight wins over ranked wins. That's SEC history right there. So we'll see if they can do that again. But I have a lot of questions for them this year.
Quite the commentary on Auburn, meanwhile, because right after Alabama and Tennessee being tied for 7th in your preseason standings, you have the Auburn Tigers coming in 9th. I think Auburn fans, just given the last 6 years, they'd probably take that, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking about this. Back in 2013, remember, they had the miracle at Jordan-Hare, then they had the kick 6 a week later. It just seems like they used up all their good fortune in 2013 because they were kind of cursed last year. I said this, they looked a lot better than their record showed. And I know Auburn fans don't want to hear that. You want to actually win the games, but and cash in on close games. But so many close finishes went against them last year. I think they were stronger than the record. The defense was pretty strong, and they were in my top 20 in my opponent-adjusted rankings. You keep the coordinator there. You keep an All-American at linebacker with Atkins coming back and a couple key starters back on defense. So I like that part of the ball that was retained. Now it's just a question of, can you really import the USF offense right away? Is that going to click right away in the SEC? That's a question, but I like that continuity that he's bringing. He's got his quarterback. He's got his, 5 receivers, 4 linemen. It's the whole system coming in. Maybe they'll take some growing pains early, but I think they're going to make a bowl, and I have them right in there in the top 25. So I think it's going to be a nice bounce back for Auburn.
Okay, Brett, let's talk big picture. Let's talk about your college football playoff. You released this a couple of days ago. In regards to the SEC, they've got 4 teams, according to you, that will make the college football playoff this year. Overall, you just mentioned Alabama could be potentially one of those teams that would compete for one of those slots in the college football playoff. But overall, big picture, who do you see ultimately being the couple teams nationally speaking that will be in that mix maybe in the Final Four once the CFP gets down to that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's the first time in Pick Six Preview's history where if you look at my top 4, not a single SEC team in there. I like what I see with Oregon. They're my national champion pick this year. Just the sheer recruiting firepower that Dan Lanning has landed there. It's 3 straight top 10 classes and then 2 transfer top 10 classes. Number 1 quarterback back, Dante Moore. I really like Oregon. I like Miami. They had a heck of a run in January last year. Lines of scrimmage are tough, and they upgraded a quarterback with Darian Mensah. Notre Dame, this is a team that I know they were left out last year, and I think deservedly so. I think if you lose that head-to-head to Miami, they didn't belong in the bracket. But power ratings-wise, number 4 for me last year, and they check in number 4 again this year. And then I've got Ohio State still in the top 4. It's just a recruiting giant, and they have one of the best defenses in the country. So that's my top 4. From there, though, here comes the SEC because 8 of the next 12 teams are SEC teams. And really, the cut line is going to be 9-3. So whether you get that ninth win, you're going to be in the race for a spot. If you're stuck at 8-4, you're out. So any of these teams, Tennessee, Bama, A&M, LSU, they're all within a game. I mean, it's just a coin flip game if get it, they're going to be in there. But yeah, thanks guys for putting out my bracket yesterday on Twitter. I love seeing that video, and I saw Molly was cracking up seeing the matchups, because the way I have it, I have Texas going to Texas Tech. They've had some off-season words back and forth over there in the Lone Star State, and another juicy one. I got USC going to Notre Dame in the freezing cold in December after they broke off their rivalry. So not to mention a Boise State-Oklahoma rematch. So, yeah, I would love for these to come true. I know you guys were enjoying that, too, yesterday.
Oh, no, we were. And listen, I wish Brett was on the College Football Playoff Committee, because that's what we need in there. We need people that want to see these matchups, because once USC said, hey, we're not playing Notre Dame, put those two teams playing each other. Hey, Texas Tech. Yeah. I'd love to see Sark on the road in Lubbock. Wouldn't you? I mean, that would be just exciting. So, yeah, we need to get Brett on the CFP committee. That would be fantastic.
Hey, I'll take
Got my vote.
There's no doubt. Listen, Pick Six Previews, the most accurate preview magazine in the last 10 years. Brett, it's always great to have you on. This is a must-have. Tell everybody they want to order this, hard copy, digital copy. Tell our audience how they can get their hands on the most accurate preview magazine.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate the praise and for having me. We got to catch up again before the season starts. And, yeah, pick6previews.com. That's the only place you can find it. It's online, pick6previews.com. We have the hard copy. If you buy the hard copy, you also get the digital PDF right away. That way, for the couple days where it's being shipped, you have access right away. So that's the season preview magazine. We got samples, testimonials up there. We also have an in-season product. If you like the magazine, you're going to want it updated every Tuesday in the fall. Picks, projections, against the spread picks. That's called Pick 6 Plus, and you see that on the website as well. So we'd love to have you there.
Absolutely. That's Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews. Brett, we will absolutely catch up before we officially get kicked off in about a month or so. Best to you, and again, congratulations on the national award. Appreciate it.
Brett.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Brett joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, when the heavy storms and the heavy rains, they roll in, you can have peace of mind knowing that your biggest investment, most likely your home, that's mine, is protected with our friends at Noto Roofing. You're going to deal directly with the owners, Sammy and Matt Noto. I grew up with these guys. They're guys that you can trust, but also a guy I've gotten to know is their field superintendent, Chris. Chris will come out to your home. If you're a Jocks listener, they're offering free inspections. He'll walk your roof like he did ours, and hopefully he finds nothing and tells you you're good to go, like he has many of our Jocks listeners. But in our case, we had hail damage. We had microscopic amounts of water that were coming through the decking, through the shingles, what used to be the shingle, through the decking of the home and going into the attic, unbeknownst to me. We had big problems that were brewing. They found that in the inspection we got with the insurance company. It was a seamless process. We got the new roof, got the new decking. We're happy. You could be happy as well. Just have that peace of mind with Noto Roofing, NOTOroofing.com. That's Noto, NOTOroofing.com, or 205-848-2299. When Sammy answers the phone, tell him Landrum from Jocks sent you.
When we come back on Three Man Front, we will dive further into what Brett just told us. Alabama tied for 7th in the SEC.
Conrad needs a Kleenex.
He's a bit upset. We'll get into that. Do a deep dive on Three Man Front.
Deep breath.
Scrolling with Haley. Join Haley Caronia as she scrolls through the biggest headlines.
If you haven't watched this show before, we do blind reactions. I have not seen these videos, so I am seeing them for the first time with all of you. We're going to implement the tinfoil hat time segments and all the stuff you know and love. And I'm going to finish the show and answer some of your questions. Someone asked me what made you get into podcasting, and I was producing podcasts for other people. And I was like, I could do this for myself, and here I am.
Scrolling with Haley. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
I'm your host, Megan Klingenberg. One thing I promised you is an all-access pass that you wouldn't get on any other show. And we found out that whoever comes on scores a goal. Burhope, Freeman, Trusty. U.S. Soccer Podcast magic is real, people. We still got plenty of coverage all throughout this World Cup. Okay, let's get into it.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.